I have here something super nerdy and super just absolutely crazy, but I honestly highly recommend it. So this here is my garden field guide. And yeah, it's a little excessive, but it's also super helpful. In this, really, this is a thrift store photo album, right? I got this for 25 cents. And all you have to do then is print out these little, I guess, 4x6 sized cards with whatever information you want to include on them. But this book here allows me to really have a good idea of not just what is in my garden, but also it reminds me when things bloom, if they are a pollinator plant. It really helps me keep track of what I have, when those things bloom, so that way I can make sure I have color year round. Or I guess, yeah, year round is what I want. Even in winter, I still want color. When things were planted, where I got them from. Because in case you get something and you notice all of these plants are dying, maybe you see a pattern of, wow, maybe this greenhouse wasn't really that good, or maybe they were all transplants and you didn't transplant them properly, things like that. So let's take a look here. While most of these are perennials, some of them, like the dahlias, are annuals. And these annuals that I have included in this book really just give me an idea of plants that I just really love having. And even if they're annuals, I enjoy having them. They're good for pollinators. Like the dahlias with a nice central disc like that is great for pollinators, and it adds really pretty color. Coleus is another annual one, but the foliage really adds some nice dimension, some nice color, and it's also great to propagate. So I do a lot of ecology lessons and plant propagation lessons, and it's great for stuff like that, great for terrariums. Then you can see more of the ones that I have, some natives, like the Heliopsis here. You have room for like little notes. We have another annual here. However, another great for pollinators one and awesome for cut flowers. So I really enjoy having this. I plant them from seed each year and then I seed save. So even if it's annual, it's okay to have. We've got some of my butterfly weed, various irises, things I've transplanted from the Poconos. I have a tattoo of this on my back. Yay. Things that were purchased as annuals but have been able to come back every year. So, originated from nursery plant. I don't remember where I got it, but I know where it was. I just don't remember the name of it. I actually got this during my bachelorette party because that's how much of a plant nerd I am. My maid of honor took me to a garden center. These two were planted as annuals. I'm not a big fan of like Easter flowers. They're okay. Give some nice color, but they're not like the best for pollinators I've seen or I've noticed. But they do add some nice spring color. And these were just planted as gifts that I got in like those colorful Easter pots that were for the inside. And then I put them outside and they've been really good. My willow, I planted that from just a cutting. I took cuttings off of a prune job that I did at a botanical garden that I used to work at, and I used those cuttings as just decoration. Well, that decoration became a tree. Again, good pictures of pollinators having notes of like, ooh, it repels aphids. So that's great to know. Maybe I'll plant some of my milkweeds and asclepias around the catmint to repel the aphids that they're so apt to get. You know, so keeping little notes really helps you to kind of figure out, you know, things like, oh, this established at an interesting time. Or that, wow, this seemed to leaf out really late. I'll make a note of that. And then maybe in future years when I go back and I'm like, why is this leafing out so late? Oh, it's not actually leafing out late. You're just a dingus and don't remember things properly. So the dates, time of year is really important, helping me to say, oh, here's when this bloomed. Great, I have good spring color. Oh, I don't have good late spring color. Oh, I really have awful late summer color. Ooh, and then it pipes back up again, gets really nice in the fall. Okay, so now I know for next year I need to be focusing on how to improve my late summer color. And the pussy willows here were planted from, again, just like the willow, the curly willow, this pussy willow was done. My husband's an arborist, and he did a pruning job and brought some of the cuttings home for me. He's done that of the lilac as well. Budley, I need to write a note. It starts blooming in late July, and it kept blooming for forever. It was fantastic. One of the longest running plants that I've got in my garden, and it was great for pollinators. It was amazing. And then I also have space. I know I purchased some native plants all at the same time, but the Jacob's Ladder was such a spring flower that I got it after it bloomed, and I wanted to make sure that my photo, all of these photos are my photos, so I wanted to make sure that the Jacob's Ladder that I would take would include a photo, so I have to wait until next spring for that to happen. But I leave a space for it. Again, it also, having these photos helps me see, oh, I have a lot of, obviously right here I've got a lot of the blues, or there's a page that had a ton of orange on it. Right here there's a lot of orange. How can I make sure that everything, you know, is as colorful as possible too? Then we've got a space for crocosmia that was planted at the same time here as well, with the hummingbird mint and the bee balm. And then we've got my gomphrena. And I am going to write in here that I need to put down information about the lilac that my husband brought home for me. And it has the most beautiful buds. It was a removal that he did, and he was like, what? This is craziness. It still has the roots. Why would anyone want to get rid of this? So we have no idea what the flower color is. I'm hoping for a nice dark purple. I had a lilac growing up, and it was so dark purple, and it smelled so good after the rain. So I'm really hoping that it gets all big and nice. But overall, yeah, it may be excessive to have the scientific name as well. Although I don't find it excessive, because some may look similar and then you look at the scientific name and you're like, oh no, they are different. But overall, I find that having a book like this is really helpful to keep my garden organized and to help me plan my garden for the future seasons, and to make sure that it provides wildlife habitat, it provides beautiful color for me to enjoy. There are nice edibles in there that I can use for my, you know, sauteed meals or for just literally anything. And that it provides shelter for lots of little animals. I found snakes, salamanders, all sorts of insects. I've got shrews and voles living underneath some parts, mice, birds, all sorts of things that I want to make sure that the habitat that I'm creating is healthy and viable, and for me, colorful. Hope this helped. You can feel free to subscribe to the Art of Ecology's channel and learn more and support my gardening efforts. I do garden blogs. Actually, my garden is an award-winning garden, but you can learn more about my garden, my gardening blogs, all sorts of cool stuff at www.theartofecology.com. Thanks!